Although I do wish that damn AI, they'd fix the Bluetooth function. I mean, it's nice to be able to tell it to start recording, but I still think I'm gonna uninstall it. Hell, the few times that I've hit my Bluetooth function to tell it to call somebody or to text somebody, I gotta restart my audiobook, and it's not playing because my headset is set up for calls. I have a separate Bluetooth that plugs into stereo that's set for audio, and then AI don't know what the hell to do with any of it, so it just goes nuts. But for now, I can record this at least without touching my phone. But anyway, I've been going back and forth about the Bernie Sanders and free college and free Medicare for all, and let's tax the banks and the big money. I looked up some interviews with Bernie, and in his own words, when he unveiled his speculative tax, he said that he's going to pay for Medicare and college for all and make it free by taxing the big money on Wall Street that's hoarding all the money to 1%, and he's going to tax the banks that involve in speculative trading that caused the collapse and then took government bailouts, because he's tired of billions of dollars being available for banks and big money and nothing being available for poor people. Guys, I got news for you. That's a damn lie all the way around. And Bernie was there through the collapse. And Bernie is not a dumb man. He's not ignorant. So he knows he's spewing bullshit. And that's troubling. So let me, this isn't my opinion now. My opinion is no more valid than your opinion. And some of y'all might want to remember that, because I've tried to talk to these folks about this stuff and come off with an okay boomer, or come off with, there was one lady that said, I commented that I'd like to at least get my daughters through school before you make it free and hand it over to government funding. And this chick had the gall to say, yeah, let his kids get through before you open it up to the paupers and the blacks. Y'all got some problems. Because first off, I was raised on AFDC and food stamps, been broke as a joke since I was a child. I run my own business now, thanks to free education that's already available. You don't need Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders isn't doing a goddamn thing for a single poor person. It's not how it...
Welcome to Texas.
Shut up. And that's not what his plan is doing, because free education for poor people is already there. When I broke my back, had back surgery, I was working warehouse most of my life. I went down to, after my unemployment and after my recovery, and I was able to get back to work. I was working as a security guard, making next to nothing. Went up to DHS, Department of Human Services, not Homeland Security, and showed them my pay stubs, and explained to them that I was working warehouse, but I couldn't do it anymore. And I had 2 daughters, wasn't making hardly any money. They sent me to Workforce, Oklahoma. I think it's called OK Ready nowadays. But anyway, your Department of Human Services will know. They sent me down to Workforce. Workforce gave me a test, said I'd be a good accountant, among other things. Told them I didn't want to be no damn accountant. But my stepmom was a trucker. My dad was a trucker. We had connections in the industry. I wanted to be a trucker. She got approval from it, or for it, from her boss. Within a week, I was signing paperwork for them to pay for my school. They had originally wanted to pay for me to go get my associate's degree to be an accountant. So that's already available if you're poor. Bernie Sanders isn't telling you this, which is also trouble. That means, you know, in my opinion, but I've been around a while, and I've seen other politicians do it. That means Bernie Sanders is telling you what he can do for you and what he can give you, but he's not telling you what's already available for you because he wants you to see him as your savior. That means that he is an extremely dangerous man. And you say Trump's dangerous. Trump does some stupid shit, but there's not a whole lot he's done right now that actually hurts the country. Yeah, he hurts his image, and there's times when he makes people think, you know, America might actually be dumbasses. But hell, Obama went around apologizing for America being assholes, so there's not a whole lot of difference there. At least Trump is not trying to tax the wrong people to make something free to everybody that's already available for poor people and then say it's for the poor people. That shit don't make no sense unless there's an ulterior motive. But that's not even the point of all this. What I wanted to do, because y'all younger folks that are supporting Bernie, apparently y'all weren't there during the recession. Y'all don't know what caused it because you're believing this bullshit that the banks caused it and that we had to bail out the banks because of their mistakes. So let me tell you why that's completely wrong. And by all means, let the witch hunt begin. Prove me wrong. Make me look stupid. Throw some links in the comments showing where I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I would love for somebody to learn something trying to prove me wrong. Because I know what the hell I'm talking about. I was there. And I didn't learn from Michael Moore or Rush Limbaugh and turn around and think I know something. I don't trust either one of those assholes. And before you call me a Republican, I don't like Republicans anymore than I like Democrats. Now, not you people, politicians. If you're registered to vote Republican, I got no problem with you. Registered as Democrat, got no problem with you. If you want to go out and vote for Bernie Sanders, I got no problem with you. My problem is with politicians that are lying to you and making themselves out to be something that you need. Quick timeline. 1933, Congress signed the Glass-Steagall Act because the Great Depression was caused by banks acting as personal and investment banks. They would take your money, give you a checking account or a savings account, and then take your money and invest it in Wall Street to make themselves money. And they did in reams. The problem is that when Wall Street collapsed, and that's when big money trading and market manipulation collapsed the market. Not during the recession. But anyway, when Wall Street collapsed, that $100 million bank only had $1 million because it had invested all your money. Not your money, you weren't around back then. If you were, hats off to you. But they lost all your money. And all of a sudden there was a Great Depression. Nobody had any money because everybody lost it. Where that physical money went, that's a whole nother story. Money don't just disappear. But anyway, moving on. 1999, Bill Clinton signed the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, if I remember right. I think that's what it was called. That gutted the Glass-Steagall Act. In his address, and this is on the Clinton Library. You can go watch it. They got the whole video. After all the pomp and ceremony and all the crap, people, kissing each other's asses, talking about how wonderful Americans they are for coming up with this bill and signing it, Bill Clinton comes out and says that it's historic legislation. We no longer need the Glass-Steagall regulations because it's a new day. We've evolved as a society and we're better now. And your money's federally insured. Get to that later too. And It said the reason for signing that bill was so that banks would be able to take greater risk in their loan process by being able to invest money and make cover their losses that way and make money that way through investments, so that they would be able to loan money to challenged communities. Now, what all that buzzword bullshit means, and what they reinforced through what they reinforced through Fannie Mae, and I'll get to them too, is that by letting them invest your money in the stock market, they wanted banks to start loaning money to poor people for home loans, people with low credit scores, people with questionable work history, shit like that. And they did, but not because Bill Clinton signed that. Now, speaking of Fannie Mae, Fannie Mae's been around since forever. They are a government-overseen entity. They were government-run. They are the ones that do the VA home loans and federal loans. In 1970, Richard Nixon let them expand into the personal loans market. But they are run by the government. They report regularly to a congressional oversight committee. Now, when you get a home loan through Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, Manhattan, you go to the bank, qualify for a home loan. It's not their qualification process, it's Fannie Mae. You qualify for a home loan, or it was. I think they've taken it back over now. But you qualify for a home loan. Third time's the charm. And they start the process to loan you the money. As soon as that process starts, that goes to Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae is giving you that mortgage. The bank is approving you. The bank loans the money to you. Fannie Mae gives the money to the bank. That's why your mortgage payments go to Fannie Mae. Now, Fannie Mae loosened their restrictions on loans, started letting the banks, or having the banks loan money to damn near anybody, and under certain circumstances. The reason is Fannie Mae made more money off those home loans than you can stake a stick at. They would take 20, 30 home loans, put them in one big package, and then piecemeal it out to investors. So your home mortgage wasn't, sent to Fannie Mae and then they sold it to an investor. Your home loan was put along with 50 other home loans, and then the first 10 years was sold to one place, the middle 20 years was sold to somebody else, and the last 10 years was sold to other investment groups. It was all over the place. By the time it all came down, nobody had any idea who the hell owned what, who lost what, or who owed what. Everybody just lost. But anyway, that's what was going on. That's what the banks were doing. That's what they were told to do. That's who told them to do it. The problem is Bill Clinton signing that bullshit Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act. Your bigger banks acted relatively responsibly. Other banks went out like drunk sailors on shore leave, took every last bit of your damn money and invested it. Now, what actually happened? The Federal Reserve raised the interest rate on mortgages, on loans. When that happened, property values went down. That's just how it works. That's how it's always worked. What also happened is everybody with an adjustable rate mortgage saw their mortgage payment each month go up, because adjustable rate mortgage, when the rates go up, their mortgage payment goes up because their loan amount just went up. Now, a lot of people couldn't afford it because they were loaning to people that were barely making ends meet. Nothing wrong with barely making ends meet now. I got nothing against you for it, but that's who lost their homes first. They couldn't afford their payments. Once that happened, Fannie Mae, when they sold off portions of those mortgages, those are what's called derivatives. Those derivatives off those homes that people walked out on weren't worth the paper they were printed on. Because when the interest rate went up, property values went down. That $250,000 house that somebody had, that they took out a $260,000 loan on, by the time the interest was done with it, it was a $340,000 loan. You got a $340,000 loan for a $180,000 house. So you've only got $180,000 worth of assets to back up $340,000 worth of loans. Don't work like that. People lost money. That's why Lehman Brothers went under almost immediately. Because that's about all they did was invest in derivatives. Now, that's also why 401ks and IRAs and all these middle-class people with retirement accounts lost their retirement accounts. Because it had all been invested in derivatives. Check Bernie Sanders' website. He's talking about charging the banks and the big money and the people that caused the collapse. Look at what he's charging on every stock trade versus what he's charging for derivatives. Anyway, skipping lightly over that. So that was the first thing that happened. Second thing that happened is that all these people took out these $250,000 loans for these $250,000 houses, owed $300,000. Their homes were only worth $180,000 now. If they did not walk immediately because they had $120,000 in negative equity, and who the hell wants to do that? If they didn't walk immediately, then there were other people where Fannie Mae and the few banks that didn't, the few investment groups that did home loans, Quicken Loans, stuff like that. Maybe not Quicken Loans themselves. I'm not saying anything against them now. But companies like that that did home loans, turned around and told these people they had $120,000 worth of negative equity. They had to refinance, but to refinance, they had to pay back their home loan and take out a new loan. Or at very minimum, they needed to make up negative equity. Who the hell can do that? They lost their homes. Now, there was a bunch of shady shit going on in there with people being told they were being evicted or people getting evicted from homes they owned that they didn't have a mortgage on. And all this crap happened with supposedly confusion. But that's just panic and rioting that happens when shit goes down. It ain't right, but it happened. And it didn't have anything to do with the big banks. Well, not directly. It wasn't the exec's fault that the housing collapse happened. They had nothing to do with it. Now, the bailouts, directly after all this shit happened, Lehman Brothers went under, other investment groups were going under, Fannie Mae was going under, Freddie Mac was going under. When that happened, the stock market started plunging. Flip back to the 1920s when that shit happened. So now that Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act just fucked America. Fortunately, your bigger banks didn't act like drunk sailors. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, Citibank to an extent, but I despise Citigroup. I'll tell you the story in a minute. So, these big banks started buying up the smaller banks that were going under to save your ass. Because the smaller banks had invested your money. They were losing so much money they couldn't cover their accounts anymore. Reminiscent of the Great Depression, because they fucked up so badly. So the bigger banks started buying them up. They started loaning each other money to buy up these smaller banks and to pull these other banks out of shit. Here come the government wanting to bail them out. because the stock market was still in free fall. The big banks said, we don't need or want your money. Keep it. We got this. But the government said, no, you've got to take this money because we've got to stabilize the market. So if we give you billions of dollars and then say everything's okay because we gave you billions of dollars to cover the mortgages that you don't actually have because you already sold it to Fannie Mae, but all this bullshit, it'll stabilize the market. So the government pushed it on them. They took it, stabilized the markets, shit went back to normal. The big banks were already fine. The big banks were pulling your asses out of the fire after Bill Clinton put it there. The big banks that you're demonizing are the ones that you remember. I remember. You probably don't if you're supporting Bernie and you weren't around to see it. But you remember all these congressional hearings and all this outrage because they were holding hearings of these bank execs, and nobody ever went to prison. That's because they didn't do anything wrong. You remember the outrage when Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America were paying bonuses to their execs right after they got bailouts. They were talking about mismanagement of government funds. Oh, y'all. They were getting paid these large bonuses because they had run their banks responsibly. They made it through the collapse. They made it through the Wall Street collapse, the housing collapse. They made it through and came out the other side, and they bought up smaller banks, saving them, and not a single one of their customers lost anything on them. That's why they got their bonuses. They earned every dime of it. But, and that's why nobody went to prison. But the government had to blame somebody. They set it all on the banks. Bernie's still setting it all on the banks. The banks are the only damn reason America didn't collapse into another Great Depression. Prove me wrong, by all means. Get out there and try and find proof that the banks didn't save your ass. Maybe when you see the proof that they did. Probably not. Anyway, moving on. The only addendum to that is Citibank. The reason Clinton signed the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act and screwed us over is because Citibank bought Travelers Group, an investment group, and became an illegal entity. Congress gave them a 2-year extension to act illegally under an umbrella while they worked to change the laws. And they did. Clinton signed the bill. So Citigroup was formed. When Clinton left office, see what I did there? A lot of his staff went to work at Citibank as execs. Citibank, or Citigroup rather, has also been fined for money laundering, for not monitoring, for allowing Al-Qaeda to launder money through their banks, for allowing drug cartels to launder money through their banks. Citigroup is the one that had memos calling their account holders peasants, taking out life insurance policies on people without their knowledge or consent. Citigroup is the epitome of everything that's wrong in banking. But Citigroup is the one that the feds protect and allowed to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Citigroup is the only big bank that was facing collapse, that needed the bailout money. And they're the ones that the government has done everything for. If you want to hate a bank, hate Citigroup. Don't hate Chase. Don't hate Bank of America. Don't hate Wells Fargo. No, well, Wells Fargo's done some shady shit. You can hate them for that shit, but not for the collapse. That wasn't on them. But anyway, by taxing speculative trading, that's taxing me. I'm not big money, obviously. Grew up on AFDC. I own my business now, but I'm still middle class. I'm not big money. Speculative trading is day traders. Now, the big money does involve in speculative trading when they go to manipulate the market. Such as, like when Chinese pharmaceutical drops 42 cents, I buy up 100 to 200 shares of it. Because I've watched the Chinese pharmaceutical. They usually hang up about 50, 52, 53 cents. So when they drop to 42, I buy. When they go up to 50, I sell. Make a little bit of money. Now the big money, like Buffett and people like him, when Chinese pharmaceutical drops 42 cents, if it's one of the stocks that they're watching, they buy 20, 30 million shares. That alone takes the stock price, bumps it up to 60 cents, or maybe 70 cents. Then Motley Fool jumps on board and sees stock growth in Chinese pharmaceutical and says, buy this stock. Shitloads of people start buying this stock, push it up to about 80, 85 cents before the market rebounds. But by the time it hits 85 cents, Buffett or whoever bought those 30 million shares of stock sell. They make a shitload of money off of it. And everybody else that invested, when that 85 cents drops back down to 60 cents because millions and millions and millions of shares of stock just hit the market again because they were sold, the people that catch it immediately sell immediately. They might make a cent or two. Most of us lose money. The people that aren't paying attention lose money. That's market manipulation. That did not cause a collapse. That had nothing to do with the collapse. That is what caused the stock market to collapse in the 20s. When the stock market was still young and big money could manipulate the living shit out of it. But it don't work like that anymore. It's harder to manipulate. You can do it if you got the money, obviously. It's harder to manipulate. Now, all of that to say, Bernie Sanders is lying straight through his teeth to you. And I hope that you don't find out why. Because he wants something. If he's not telling you what the government is already willing to do for poor people, if you're poor, you need to get your ass to the Department of Human Services and let them pull you up. 10 years ago, I was making $28,000 a year. Now my business gross is about $250,000 a year. I probably net around $60,000 to $70,000 a year. The government got me here. And yeah, it was just, they paid $5,000 for my schooling. So I actually got here. It took a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice. But the government is already willing to pull your ass up. You've just got to put in the work and be willing to sacrifice to pull yourself out of debt and out of the dregs and get up the middle class. You can do it already. The programs are already there. The foundation is already there. Been around since the 60s. It works. Bernie isn't telling you any of that because he wants to be the next president. He wants you to vote him into office so he can pull you up out of the gutter. But he can't do that. Jump on Google and look up college degrees, unemployed or underemployed. And you tell me if you think flooding the market with college degrees is going to do anything except collapse wages. It will cause a bigger problem than it will solve. Because yeah, you might get your student loans paid off. Congratulations. But if you went to college and you need your college loans paid off because you're underemployed or because you couldn't find a job in your field, imagine everybody wasting 4 to 6 years of their lives in college so that they can be doing what you're doing. That's not a solution. It's a buzzword that he's using to prop himself up as a savior and get voted into office. It's complete bullshit. If you're poor, go to Department of Human Services. Talk to them. They will give you options. They will pay you to go to school. They will pay for your school. They will pay you TANF while you go to school so that you are not screwed. That's how it works. That's one thing Bill Clinton actually did right, was change AFBC to TANF and require you to participate in a job placement or in a job training program to receive TANF. It's all there already for you if you are poor. Get off your ass and go do it. Otherwise, don't bitch about being poor. You've got options. There are options there. If you're a single mother, I don't want to hear your shit. They'll pay for your daycare. You have options. The programs are already there. They're tried and tested and proven. Bernie's bullshit is tried, tested, and bullshit because he's lying about every damn thing he's saying. Better wake up. Us Gen Xers have been around since there was no internet. The world you live in is the world we built for you. Do not fuck it up. And stop with the okay boomer dismissals and all your bullshit. Because if you don't listen, you're going to wake up when you're my age. You're not going to recognize the damn world you live in. Trust me on this. I know. You're already fucking it up. Wake up, kids. Anyway, I got a business to run. I got shit to do. Good luck.